Attorney General has to tell MAGA firefighters, simmer down now. Here it is.
I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Attorney General Letitia James.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. Thank you for getting it out of your system. First, I want to recognize Reverend A.R. Bernard in his absence. I want to recognize Monsignor Jamie, and it also is an honor and a privilege to be here today as we swear in Reverend Pam Holmes Saxton as chaplain of the FDNY. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition. And today we are making history, swearing in our first African-American woman chaplain of FDNY.
Oh, they have no class. Put up the picture full blast. You see, for many years, we have allowed, and I say we in the context of Black folk in the Christian church, we have allowed politicians to come to our churches who were adversarial to our progress. I can name a few ceremonies that are quite famous. And we do that, or we have done that historically because we were taught it's the courteous thing to do. That our differences can be put aside for at least a common cause known as faith. Well, that day has never been inside of white evangelical churches. They would never invite a liberal, a progressive to grace their pulpit. But we, on the other hand, we have done that many times, attempting to forge a relationship to create change. New York Attorney General Letitia James, however, during remarks at a promotion ceremony for the fire department of New York, was interrupted by jeers and chants in support of Donald Trump. Numerous crowd members applauded and booed as she was introduced, and when she honored the swearing in of Reverend Pamela Holmes, the FDNY's first Black female chaplain. That made them mad too, by the way, obviously. That some broke out into cheers while others started chanting, Trump, Trump, Trump. FDNY chief John Hodgins, in a statement to Newsweek after the ceremony, said, quote, "Today's ceremony was about one thing, the accomplishments of the members being promoted. The members whose behavior distracted from that celebration were an embarrassment and not befitting of the world's best fire department." All right, end quote. Good comment, Chief. James filed a civil lawsuit last year against Donald Trump and his eldest son for what? Illegally inflating Trump's net worth and his various assets and properties. That's not illegal. It's not illegal to do. That's not illegal to flex. It's illegal to flex in order to get more money from somebody. Now that's fraud. So he lies about his actual assets and income in order to gain access to more capital. Illegal. Everyone knows this. That not only upset her for the prosecution of Trump civilly, but they're also upset because she took down the National Rifle Association by way of civil suit as well. Gutted them. They're basically non-existent there. All right, so the embattled former president has launched numerous attacks against James, claiming she's corrupt, claiming she in fact is racist. During his civil trial, he even claimed that James had sat comfortably and confidently in court with her shoes off, arms folded, a Starbucks coffee, and a big smile on her face. Wow, that would be awesome if that was true. That would have been remarkable if that was true. Okay, he's repeatedly purported He's repeatedly purported that James' lawsuit, alongside the multiple criminal indictments he faces in other states, is part of a witch hunt orchestrated by Democrats. I wish Democrats were that coordinated. They are not. All right, I guarantee you there is no mastermind behind this. Trump's legal team vowed to appeal the ruling in his New York civil fraud case, but to do so, the former president must post a bond that amounts to the full sum he owes the state and civil penalties by March 25th. If he doesn't pay up by that deadline, James could start seizing his assets to satisfy the fine. Despite the mixed reception from the audience of firefighting personnel on Thursday, James did not miss a beat in her speech. She even closed the remarks showing special gratitude and reverence for those who jeered her. Quote, some may be even booing me, but nonetheless, I pray for them. And she did so by recounting the passing of her mother. Here it is.
Pray for those firefighters who stood with me when my mother was dying and they worked on her for an hour in my house, not knowing who I was. And I thank them. I thank those members of FDNY who worked on her body and prayed over her body when she died. Some may even be here. Some might even be booing me. But nonetheless, I pray for them.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Attorney General Letitia James a few years ago. And this was during the presidency of Donald Trump. You can find that interview at WOK.com. If you type in Dr. Rashad Richey and Letitia James, it should come up in Google. Well, when I interviewed her, I posed the question. I said, are you going to prosecute Donald Trump after he's president? And she made it very clear that if her investigation finds that he did, in fact, inflate his income in order to obtain special treatment in way of loan guarantees, well, that's a crime. Her office would move forward appropriately. Well, that's on record. She said it during the interview. And she did it after he was no longer president. A woman of her word. All right, Ben, thoughts here?
Thankfully, she is a woman of her word on that. You know, I love that Letitia James's first name is close to litigious. I like to call her litigious James.
Yes.
You got to bring the heat sometimes. And when they brought the heat towards her in that speech in the most unprofessional way, it just again speaks to the de-evolution we've experienced in this country. I mean, this is a state law enforcement agency. You know, this is a fire department. So I guess not law enforcement, but they're there to help their civil servants. And they normally would refrain from politics and political discourse in any sort of public forum. Yet Trump has broken that. He's broken the norms, the decorum, and the brains of so much of our society. And I can't ever decide when people are so vocal about their support of Donald Trump more than of anybody else really in political history in this country, how vocal, how willing to put aside the appropriate behavior of their position they are to be able to just put it all on the line for this man who clearly would never put an inch on the line for them. I can't decide if it's because they are mean-spirited, bad people, or if they're just not, or that I like to call them soft-brained people who would just fall victim to the hypnosis and the propaganda of this terribly disingenuous and ill-intended leader. I can't tell. Neither is good. I guess it's a better of intention if they have been tricked rather than that they want to support somebody who so clearly is so against what this nation stands for. But either way, it does not speak well to where we are as a nation and our ability to get out of this mess. I don't know how we do it. I guess it comes through electing better leaders and publicly rejecting these malintended forces that we keep having thrust upon us, but remains to be seen how this shakes down in the future.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is about the determination of your human will. That's what it's about. If you ever believe that they are stronger than you, they are. If you hold on to the fact that you are stronger than them, you are. That's how it works.